Well, holy flippity flip flop flapping smokes.
Yo, did you know the average number of months between 25% monthly gains in Bitcoin price since 2013 is 4.42 months? We're in the fourth month since the November Trump pump. Better days ahead, Bitcoiners. Bull markets are not clear skies and have their own share of distractions. And I'm going to talk about the gate boss of all distractions to date, MicroStrategy, and how they seemingly get off easy with the old motto, don't trust, verify. And with Elon and Trump saddling up to Fort Knox for some Doge activities, maybe they could check out the MicroStrategy stack since no one has actually seen it. Wait, no one?
Are you down with the underground? Are you down with the underground?
It's Sir Ulrich, and are you down with the underground? Now, if you've seen my past videos or Pleb Underground live episodes, I'm forthcoming that I have my own strategic stockpile of MicroStrategy stock in various forms. Now, I saw an opportunity years ago near the bottom of the bear market, and I made a move. And fast forward a few years, let's just say I'm playing with house money. And way before a few smooth talking quants roped in a bunch of apes chasing a dream in late 2024. And here's a simple tip. When the big word credentialed guys start popping up in your algorithm, the show is over. So I pay attention to MSTR because I do have skin in the game. And it seems every day I become more worried about that stack and reminded how far it is from the beautiful asset we call Bitcoin. And we all know Michael Saylor gets a pass on a lot of stuff. And he could say the most anti-Bitcoin things, and a few days later, everyone is like, whatever. Like, nothing he does can ever be wrong for long. Like Kobe Bryant to Laker fans ignoring how many years he missed the playoffs as their best player. Like black folks pretending Obama actually did anything to better their socioeconomic status. Or like Disney fans eternally numb to that company's tragic fall. You know, there was this interesting phase we went through on Bitcoin X harping about the importance of proof of reserves in the late summer, autumn timeframe. You know, before we got the Trump pump. I love doing that. And companies like River were posting every 2 days like, here are my proof of reserves, here are my proof of reserves right here. Desperately in your face like, okay, brother, we see you. But then you have exchanges like Coinbase and Gemini that claim their institutional trust and compliance with traditional financial oversight is all the proof you maggots are gonna get. But then there's MicroStrategy, and I know they're not a crypto exchange, but their chief value proposition, at least for the equity, is we have Bitcoin, so buy our stock. And they have 478,740 Bitcoin at the time of this recording, and no one has seen it. And what's worse is no one is asking. And since December, we've had to deal with this near weekly, there's too much green on this chart from the seafarer himself, and not a single person that he would respond to has asked, hey bro, can you drop a Block Explorer link, a public key, maybe a transaction ID? And you know, I would have asked, but you know, if he ignored me, I'm kind of sensitive, and I would have rage dumped my MSTR, and then it was an unwanted tax event, and you know, just no, bad idea. And of course, to each their own, but I don't know. If El Salvador can publish their country's reserves, why can't he? And so I did some digging, and it's just a weird situation in my eyes. All I could find was the MicroStrategy Bitcoin is reportedly held directly by them and stored in secure digital wallets, but they don't publicly disclose the specific details of its storage methods for security reasons. It's just assumed that they use a combination of cold storage and air-gap signing devices to safeguard the holdings against hacks, but they don't even go into that detail. No one has given us the grand tour, you know? And their excuse is they purposely avoid mentioning a dedicated Bitcoin manager or management process, as publicly detailing those custody methods could invite security risks. And they're not wrong. Their SEC filings and earnings reports focus on the amount held and the acquisition costs and not operational detail. And I get that MicroStrategy is taking all precautions to prevent nefarious actors, but you know, Fort Knox does that too. And no one who's read anything about Fort Knox thinks the gold deposits there are as much as they claim. And while it's unlikely there is none, I believe it's closer to none than all.
Pundits have suggested that the last time Fort Knox was audited was in the early 1950s, with a partial audit 50 years ago in 1974. The question everyone keeps asking is whether or not the vast tonnage of gold bullion is still in Fort Knox. If the gold is there, a huge proportion of it was originally British, and its presence in America stems from the dark days of 1940 to 41, when Britain was in serious danger of being defeated by Nazi Germany.
So we'll see what Trump and Elon find. And by the way, isn't it funny the amount of fanfare and public decree about the Fort Knox investigation? Like, if that's not code for hurry up and move some gold there before we come, I don't know what is. I don't want to speak for y'all. Let me know in the comments if you believe Mitch McConnell about the condition of Fort Knox. Oh, now some of y'all failed if you didn't stop me at believe Mitch McConnell. Do you think there's an adjacent reason for Swiss gold exports to USA being at a record level? Please don't tell me it's from the tariffs. Where are you getting your news from, Yahoo? But off that tangent, recall I said the following in my previous video about MicroStrategy, but it begs reminding. Even though the Bitcoin valuation has been more lucrative right now, a downturn for MSTR is not the same as a Bitcoin retraction. Bitcoiners are hardened and stubborn against bear market forces. MicroStrategy holders are fair-weathered and are not there for the monetary revolution. This cycle with MicroStrategy in the forefront of everyone's attention, they're going to see a brutal sell-off the minute market sentiment turns sour. And the last thing we're going to say about them in a market downturn is they're trading at a premium to the underlying asset, Bitcoin. The capital in MicroStrategy is not originating from fervent belief in Bitcoin. Rather, it's an arbitrage on volatility. The same hedge funds that are buying convertible debt are shorting the stock for fiat gain. And I promise you this, no fiat-oriented shareholder will want this MicroStrategy thing looking out at a 12 to 18-month bear market. Leverage sucks in a bear market, and MSTR is simply a leverage play on Bitcoin. And you see the associative rule there? MSTR will suck in a bear market, and anyone half sentient will be out long before we get a sniff of the downward trend. And as for the 0% convertible bonds, they aren't worth it if the buyer doesn't think the timeline for the convert option will be an advantageous return. You guys, I'm not a Fed watcher. I didn't sit in the bond chair for 30 years. But the cycles are continuing to display trends of identifying the truth versus a new lie each time. Bitcoin versus ICOs, Bitcoin versus NFTs, Bitcoin versus leveraged Bitcoin equities. I don't see any other competition. So what do you think is going to be the great rug pull this cycle? Or wait, don't tell me. You're one of those that think this time is different. I've been watching Bitcoin treasury companies and LBEs for a while, and I think I need to put together a video. So be sure to look out for that in the future. It'll be similar to my strategic crypto reserve summary. If you haven't seen that one, be sure to add it to your queue. And to the Bitcoin influencers, on the slim chance you watch uncompromised Bitcoin content and at the risk of not getting invited back on the yacht, can you ask Sailor to show us the public keys? You know, don't trust, verify. Or maybe, I guess we don't say that anymore. I'm Sir Ulrich, like my father before me. Hey Mike, hurry up and pump my bags.